What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. K. Roy Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comic book characters. Listen, this Justice League series is intense as shit. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? They are doing a lot. I like what they're doing. I like that this is the way that it is, but I'm also liking the dynamic of everything happening outside of the main JLU series with how weird the Trinity is being towards members of the Justice League Unlimited that they just put together. So like the Trinity is already doing too much. Mr. Terrific is fucking losing it. Like, there's so much going on the outside, and then when you put it in here, like in perspective with what's happening with the JLU in this series happening right now, it's a lot. Like, not even kidding. So they are still in the Amazon, going through this gigantic fire with everything happening with this group called the Inferno. And so they are not able to get any kind of leverage here. The magic users aren't getting any kind of leverage. Diana can't power her way through. Flash and Superman are busy trying to save people. And Red Tornado asks Mr. Terrific, like, you know, what are you trying to, like, what do we do? And he's like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? So Mr. Terrific is very, I'm always right. I've never been wrong. I've also never failed, and I'm not gonna fail now. So Red Tornado suggests, comedically, but still on a serious note, that they get Hail Mary. And he's like, you know, I deal in facts and all this other bullshit. So he's like, I'm thinking along the lines of civilian. And the civilian that they're thinking of, because they're still dealing with the green, is Tefe Holland, who is Alec Holland's daughter. Now, when he approaches her, he just hands her a fucking Justice League membership card. And she's like, oh no, hell no. That would also be my reaction. One, y'all don't talk to me. Two, you didn't even ask. You just, oh, are you Tefe Holland? Cool, here, take this. No. On top of that, she's a civilian. She's not even a hero. But because the green is being so affected and the current avatar of Swamp Thing, Levi, has been disconnected and burned, they need her help. So she agrees to assist, but not as a leader. Something that, you know, I understand. I understand where you're coming from, girl. Meanwhile, Batman decides to go and track down Martian Manhunter, who just fucking left. And he left because, and Batman does make a great analogy at this point, because you're deaf and blind and you still feel like you're unhelpful. And he's like, I'm a danger. He was like, we're supposed to be solving this shit together. You were supposed to say something to us. You still went into that whole situation with no eyes and no ears. He's like, the silence has got to be deafening for you. And on top of that, you can't see. Your senses are gone. But you still went in there to help. But because you were so upset with what was going on, you kind of lost it. He was like, you know, that's not you, but this is a situation that we have to figure out together. So it was something that you had to say to, like, something that you needed to say to us. Now, something there with Jean not being able to trust the Trinity with that information. Not only the Trinity, but Mr. Terrific. Now, I can tell, like I can agree with the not telling Mr. Terrific, because Mr. Terrific is fucking tripping. And if you were reading the Challengers of the Unknown, you would see what I mean. The Darkseid has been gone for a while. However, there are still remnants of Darkseid kind of just everywhere. And so he is on like this pseudo high alert, freaking out every time something happens to one of the challengers. But instead of trying to assist or asking them any kind of questions, he just asserts that they're on Darkseid's side and it's just locking them up. They're literally about to start a fucking riot in the Watchtower because Mr. Terrific's not saying any words. Mr. Terrific's also not communicating with the Trinity about this either. And like the professor from the Challengers Unknown, the professor just went on a mission with the Atoms to Dinosaur Island, and something called the Optium or whatever, all of that stuff that happened, and he simply just locked them away. And Mr. Terrific always has to be right, as seen in this comic book right now. He's like, prove me right, prove me right, prove me right. I'm always right. We have never failed. I've never failed. I can't be wrong. You know who doesn't have that mentality? Batman. Like, I don't know what's been going on with the writing for Batman, but Batman does not sound like that. And he is a great, like, y'all already know how I feel about Batman, but Batman doesn't sound like that. Batman can admit when he is wrong. Like that whole situation with Absolute Power where he calculated that incredibly wrong and had everybody out in the open all at the same time with those Amazos taking everybody's powers. He said he made the wrong calculation. So he's never said, I can't be wrong. I've never been wrong. I don't fail. He's failed before. He's been wrong before. He can admit it. You can't. I need you to get that shit together. But anyway, so Tefe Holland shows up, and Mr. Terrific just starts barking out fucking orders, and he says, we have the our magic people are going to be able to assist you, and he assigns Xanth and Zatanna to run point, and while those two are running point, John Constantine assists to Tefe, but of course those two know each other, and she's like, ah, shit, but you know, no time for pleasantries. She starts working, and in a matter of like seconds at that point, the power that she has and the support of the magic that she is being infused with, she is not only pushing back on what the Inferno is doing in terms of damage, but she is also regrowing at the same time. So she's doing a lot, right? So her and Aquaman are together, and it's not really a good idea for Aquaman to be there. So why Aquaman is there is very confusing to me. Because when you guys are putting these people out in the field, why are you bringing Aquaman, who needs water, to a place about fire? The problem is fire. There is no water available. What the fuck is he supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Get it together. But anyway, at that point, she takes him into the green because Levi still needs help. So they get into the green, and Levi is trapped in this prism, and one of the members of the Inferno is like, oh, we're guarding him actually, and y'all aren't going to be able to do anything. He's like, Aquaman, you're an old enemy. There's no water in here, so what is it that you're going to do? You can't control any water. You can't summon any of your animals. And she's like, he may be out of his element, but I'm not out of mine. So she imbues her magic to Aquaman to summon the Parliament of the Trees. And he ends up getting defeated by trees. She gives their magic to Levi. Levi is able to do the rest and help everybody, and then people start going back to their homes and things like that. When that one who was guarding Levi gets back to Inferno, he was like, the boss is like, you've been defeated by trees. I would have been like, is this fucking Lord of the Rings? Because the trees got you. You got beat by trees. That's what you're telling me. You're coming back from this mission, a failed mission, to tell me that you got beat by trees. That's exactly how he was looking at man. And so he's like, you know, they're still scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on. And we have, you know, the advantage because they still don't know who we are. And he's like, you can assure that. And of course, Airwave is there as their insider because he's supposed to be killing the Justice League, and he's taking notes in his little notebook. So he's like Justice League Green and all this other stuff that he's just kind of writing down. This is a lot. And it's also showing that because the Justice League doesn't know what's going on, Batman is getting very frustrated as one of the Trinity because he's still being left in the dark. All of them are being left in the dark, and of course they don't like that. They truly don't like being left in the dark, and of course that is understandable. So it's very clear that they are all very frustrated, and Airwave is quite literally in the center of that. One thing that I do and don't like about this is the difference between this JLU and the JLU TV show that we used to watch. Now, of course, I'm not going to say that the Trinity is perfect, because they've never been. Never. Okay? However, they are doing a lot of things very differently than how it appeared in the TV show. And a lot of it is a lot of secret bullshit that I just don't like. Batman is unhinged. I will say that. That man is unhinged. And if you know about Black Lightning, when he went and did the go-ahead in bringing Black Lightning's daughter up there, Anissa, while he was trying to actively calm her down, talk to her, and get her to trust him, because there's some mistrust going on ever since Absolute Power. So there's mistrust going on ever since Absolute Power between a lot of the heroes. So if you are, I'm telling you that there is a problem between my daughter and I need to establish my trust with her again. I need her to trust me. Why in the middle of the conversation are you beaming her up to put her in a jail cell? Why are you doing that? Then when I approach you about that situation, Superman and Wonder Woman are trying to play mediator, and you then go, your daughter is dangerous just like you, as if you're not a dangerous person yourself. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Then the Teen Titans are separate from the Justice League. They had a little thing going up on Titans, I'm not Titans, but the Watchtower, but then they decide to go and separate themselves. They're having some issues with some of the people who they have not faced in a while, all of a sudden having these memories of fights that never happened, and there's clearly something going on, and they're trying to handle it, and here comes Batman taking one of them and is like, oh, don't worry about what we're gonna do, it's none of your business. What are you talking, what do you mean? And Donna Troy is supposed to be the leader here, so you should at least say something to her. And you're sitting here treating them like this everything. And then there was that whole thing with Mr. Terrific and the Challengers. It's like they're sowing the seeds of discord, and I do and don't like that. I do like that because it gives you something else to look forward to, with the fact that they're going to be dealing with these things on all fronts. But then it's just like, what is the point of creating this gigantic network if you can't even trust the people who are in it? But that's just me. But I did like this issue, including Tefe Holland was actually really awesome. I loved that. And just seeing everybody working together when they had Kid Flash and somebody else in the Magic Library trying to come up with a counterspell. Seeing Diana struggling against this, putting John Constantine, Xanth, and Zatanna out there. Dr. Occult was injured because he got pulled into the Inferno. They blasted his ass out, and then he was just passed out. So there was a lot of things going on, and it honestly just culminated into a really, really good book. This book. So tens across the board for me. But that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office, and you can find the podcast on the channel, so if ever you want to listen to the podcast, the episodes will be there. And if you haven't gotten the book, get the book. But again, that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office, and I'll see you guys at your next checkup.